You ever notice how some people just seem to thrive no matter what life throws at them? Well, their secret isn't about changing the world outside, it's about mastering the world inside. And that's exactly what we're going to dig in today, this idea of the inside out advantage. It's the powerful truth that your internal world is what really drives your success and happiness out there in the real world. You know, the leadership expert Daniel Goleman just nails it with this quote. He says the first job of any manager isn't about leading other people. Step one is all about knowing and managing yourself. I mean, just think about that for a second. Before you can lead a team or a company or even your family, you've got to be able to lead yourself. It is the foundation for everything else. All right, so let's really get into the power of this inside-out idea. We're going to see just how directly our inner world, our thoughts, our focus, all of that literally creates the reality we experience. And as you're about to see, the stakes here, well, they couldn't be higher. I mean, take this absolutely tragic example. Back in 1977, the deadliest aviation accident in history wasn't caused by some kind of mechanical failure. No, it was caused by a failure of attention. The captain got so fixated on one tiny detail that he completely missed all the massive warning signs right there in front of him. It's a really sobering reminder that a breakdown in our internal world can have absolutely devastating consequences in the external one. Okay, so to make this all a bit easier to get our heads around, let's use a metaphor. Think of your mind as your own personal internal operating system, right? Your emotions, those are the core processors, doing all the heavy lifting in the background. Self-awareness, that's your user interface. It's how you actually see what the system is up to. And mindfulness, well, that's the critical software update that makes the whole thing run smoother, faster, and just better. So let's start with that core processing unit, our emotions. We're going to pull back the curtain and deconstruct the science of feeling, just to understand what's really happening under the hood of our internal OS. I mean, we talk about being angry or happy or sad all the time, but have you ever really stopped and asked yourself, what is an emotion? Like, what is it mechanically? Well, it turns out it's not some big mystery. It's actually a pretty straightforward process. So believe it or not, every single emotion you've ever felt follows this exact four-step pattern. First, something happens. That's the stimulus. Second, you have what's called a cognitive appraisal, which is really just the story you instantly tell yourself about what just happened. That story then creates a real physical response in your body, which finally leads to a behavioral tendency, that urge to do something. And here's the absolute key. Our emotions aren't just these random storms that happen to us. They're part of a predictable process. And the second you understand that process, that's when you get the power to step in and actually manage your reactions instead of letting your reactions manage you. So if our emotions are the processing power, how do we interact with all that? That is where self-awareness comes into play. Think of it as the user interface for your mind. It's the tool we use to see what our internal OS is actually doing in real time. And self-awareness isn't some fuzzy, abstract idea. No, it's a practical, learnable skill, and it has two really distinct parts. First, there's the internal piece, truly understanding your own thoughts, emotions, and values. And then there's the external piece, understanding how other people see you. You really need both to be truly self-aware. And here's something that's so important to remember. You don't just achieve self-awareness and then you're done. It's a continuous journey, right? It's a process of constantly coming to understand yourself better as you grow and as your life changes. It's a process, not a destination. Okay, so how do we actually build this skill? How do we install that crucial software update for our internal operating system? Well, the most powerful and well-researched tool we have for this is mindfulness. And if you think this is just some new agey thing, think again. I mean, look at this list. Some of the highest performing organizations on the entire planet. We're talking tech giants like Google and Apple, all the way to the US military. They are all using mindfulness programs to boost performance and resilience. So why are they all investing in it? Because the science is totally clear. The benefits are real, they're tangible, and they affect the bottom line. You get better communication, stronger teams, less stress, and this incredible ability to see things from other people's perspectives. It is a genuine high-performance tool. And this slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? The contrast is so stark. On one side, you've got mindless, autopilot behavior, you're reactive, impulsive, just running on cognitive shortcuts. But on the other side, you've got mindful leadership, resilient, self-aware, thoughtful, and genuinely open to what's going on around you. I mean, which one do you think gets better results? So this brings us to the big question: what's the payoff? What are the actual real-world results you can expect when you decide to upgrade your internal operating system with a little more self-awareness and mindfulness? Well, in the workplace, the benefits are just undeniable. The research is super clear on this. Self-aware leaders are simply more effective. Period. They make better decisions, they build trust way faster, and they create stronger, more cooperative teams. But hey, this isn't just about your 9 to 5. These skills are fundamental to our entire lives. Think about it. We spend something like 80% of our waking hours with other people. The quality of those relationships is one of the biggest predictors we have for our overall mental and even our physical health. And that leads to an even bigger question. If we really want to be happier, where should we be focusing our energy? Should we be trying to make more money? Get into perfect shape? Create the perfect life circumstances? What really moves the needle? Well, the answer from the research is pretty mind-blowing. It's right here. When scientists actually studied what contributes to our well-being, they found that all those external things, our money, our health, our life situation, all of that only accounts for about 20% of our happiness. The other 80%, that comes from our internal psychological processes. It's about how we think, how we see the world, and how we manage our own minds. So the conclusion here is just inescapable. The single biggest lever you have for improving your happiness and your success isn't out there in the world. It's your internal operating system. The work you do on the inside has a 4-to-1 advantage over anything you can possibly change on the outside. Gandhi captured this idea just perfectly. He said, "Our greatness isn't really about being able to remake the world. It's about being able to remake ourselves." And that, right there, that is the ultimate human power, the power of self-transformation. So where do you start this whole journey of building your inside-out advantage, of upgrading your internal OS? It all really boils down to and begins with one single thing. It begins by asking yourself one powerful and maybe kind of scary but deeply honest question. What's it like to be on the receiving end of me? Answering that question, that's the first step to mastering your inner world and in turn, creating the outer world you truly want.